Hello guys, I'm back from another video, and today we're talking about what if Deku was in Genshin Impact. So, in the last video we talked about how... after, the whole, introduction with, him, Lumine, and also Zhongli, they would basically start to prepare to go to Inazuma. And also being, told that Inazuma is currently still in a war and they should be careful. So, after going back to, Zhang Ling's house, they would basically pack up all of their things and would get, some bento, basically like the Chinese equivalent of bentos. But before they can leave, a certain Zhang Li would decide to kiss him, and also Hu Tao, which, let's just say, wait for a second, well, it caused Lumine to almost become a little bit even more jealous. So, after they left, with, Lumine basically grumbling to herself that, they should probably make some ground rules. And probably even tell, a certain, two certain girls in Mondstadt about, their brand new, I guess you could say, harem sisters, yeah. So, after doing that, they would basically arrive at the ports where they're going to be meeting up with the person, or at least a couple of persons, that are going to be bringing them to Inazuma. After introducing themselves, which apparently their names are, one of them was named Beto, and the other one was called Kazuha. So, after meeting with them, they would basically bring them to, Inazuma, and would basically put them towards, the docks, and they would meet up with a person by the name of Toma. Kazuha would leave and basically decide to go to Inazuma because of a special reason, which will happen probably in this episode, maybe. And also, after meeting with Toma, they would basically go to, a checkpoint and basically register, why they're here exactly. So, after doing this, they would decide to go and get some citizenship for, Inazuma. After getting their citizenship, which, by the way, the original cost was pretty much a lot, but thankfully Toma basically, decided to, swayed them. So, after doing that, all three of them, specifically Izuku, Paimon, and, Limine, would basically decide to go to a little, hotel, or I guess you can say inn, which is actually being run by a few members of, the treasure hoarders. The reason why he decided to go for this is because, well, these treasure hoarders are technically family. In fact, apparently they know about his parents. And apparently his parents were pretty much really well-known members of the treasure hoarders and, Inazuma's branch, which was actually pretty exciting knowing that. And so, after arriving there, some of his, I guess you could say uncles and, aunts would basically start to tease him about, Izuku's relationship with Lumine. So, after, a bit of teasing and also a bit of drinking, both of them, or at least all three of them, would basically fall asleep. So yeah, so that is basically what happened last episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. And also, before we actually start this episode, let me address something first. So, my, idea for, Izuku's semblance and for, the Ruby what if, well, it seems that all of you decided to go for a heroic spirit summoning, which I thought that all of you guys would decide, no, we're definitely not going to pick that because you're going to make a what if about, Bell having that same ability. But it seems I was wrong. So, I'm going to be making, the actual semblance for Izuku Dojutsu. So, all of you guys that decided to go for, heroic spirit summoning, sorry, because, I'm doing a what if about, Bell actually having that ability. So, and the reason why I also decided to, make this an actual option is because, I was either planning on making it heroic spirit summoning, or, or, having all of the abilities of all the Akatsuki members, like, for example, Orochimaru to, Itachi, which, at the time, I thought it was pretty cool, but, I realized that was going to be pretty hard, so I decided to, not add that, and decided to go for heroic spirit summoning. Until I got the idea about, Bell having that ability as well, so I thought all of you guys would decide to just like, no, thank you. But I guess I was wrong. So, yeah, I'm gonna be making, the actual semblance for, that what if, this one. So yeah, I'm gonna be making, Izuku's semblance Dojutsu. AKA, he's gonna have, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, the, Renegon, specifically, I think it was the 9 Tomo, or was it 6 Tomo? Actually, I can't remember, because I only saw it in, like, Sasuke's image, or at least the one. So I'm just gonna be making it, the, I guess you could say, basically the red Tomo, not red Tomo, I meant not six, I meant, anyway, I'm just gonna be making it the 9 Tomo Sharingan. I meant 9 Sharingan. Renegon, god damn it. Anyway, and I'm also gonna be adding the Byakugan, but not the Tensegon. That will happen later. Maybe. So, anyway, continuing, with the story. God dang it! So, as all of them would basically wake up, they would basically go around town and basically start, looking around and basically having a bit of fun. Basically seeing all of the sights. Because they were foreigners, some of them were not really trusting. So, Izuku has to explain that, that they're, not really bad. Specifically, Lumine and, Paimon. The reason why is because, Izuku's technically like an Inazumian, because remember, both of his parents are Inazumian, so people would just think, oh yeah, he's pretty much a part of, Inazuma, so they would just think, yeah, he's probably not a foreigner, and they can just, trust him, somewhat. So, after a bit of talking to, and also a bit of like, talking to them about, Halloween and, Paimon are not really bad, so they would basically somehow, somewhat trust them. Somewhat. So, after a while, basically looking at the sights, looking around, having a bit of fun, they would hear the sound of battle nearby, a little, into a little beach. So, after, going towards the sounds of battle, they would see a few, soldiers and a few, not really good-looking soldiers. What do I mean by this? Well, some of their armor are actually somewhat cheaply made. And some of them are not even wielding any weapons. Some of them were wielding just like, normal ass sticks or something of that sort. While the army that specifically, seemed to be wearing much more higher quality armor and wielding spears, swords, things of that sort, they're currently bashing on them. As, Izuku would see a few people that seem to be more prominent. One was a girl that seems to be half fish? She seems to be half fish, or at least in his mind, as she seems to be, wielding, a vision that specifically specializes in, hydro. And a boy, or somewhat of a boy, I mean, he doesn't really know that it's a boy until he looks at the front and sees that he has, he's not as a board. So thankfully, he was a boy. So, this boy seems to have, dog-like ears and a dog-like tail. And he seems to be fighting well, and seems to be wielding a bow. So, after seeing this... Wait for a second, god dang it. So, after seeing this large battle between, these two armies, which obviously seems to be one-sided, Izuku would start to feel something behind him. As Izuku would say, "Lumine, duck!" As before she can say anything else, or at least, Izuku can, say anything else, Lumine would basically duck, and a sword slash would basically appear out of nowhere, made out of electro energy, as they would see a big burly man that seems to be wearing samurai-like clothing, as he seems to be wielding an electro sword, as he would say, "Are you another enemy?" As he would basically charge up his sword, as Izuku would say this. Not really, but it seems that you decided to attack us, so I guess you're technically our enemy then. As he would basically wield up his, sword, as something happens to it, he would start to feel jolts of electricity basically coming off of him, as a brand new symbol would basically appear on his, on his vision, specifically in the color of the electro, electro element, as you would say, because you almost tried to hurt my, girlfriend over there. Guess I'll just have to beat you into the ground. After saying this, he would basically start charging up a bolt of electricity as a blast of it would basically come out of his sword. As the purple electricity would basically, blast into him, causing him to basically, fall to the ground. As you would say, wait, did I use electro? As you would basically look back at the sword, as another symbol would basically appear on it, which is purple and glowing. As you would say, I guess I'm able now to use, electro then. He would basically say nonchalantly, as Lamine would say, Bell, not Bell, I meant Izuku, are you okay? As you'd say, yeah, are you? As she would say, yeah, I'm fine, but what did you do? As you'd say, yeah, it seems that I'm able to use Electro now. As she'd say, well, that's cool. But before she can say anything else, she would feel something happen to her. As her arms, her arm guards and also some of her body parts would start to glow a little bit, purple, just like, the electro element. As she would say, what just happened? As Bo would say this. Not Bell, I meant Izuku. Oh no. As Izuku would say this. I think I might have absorbed my energy and became, electro user. As she would say, it seems so. Well, this is certainly weird. As they would basically look back at the man, as the man was completely knocked out. As Izuku would say this. Well, we should probably start to leave. As should say, yeah, agreed. So, both of them would basically start to leave, knowing that, they're definitely gonna get chased. So, after going back, to the inn where the treasure hoarders are currently, and one of them specifically says this. So, what did you do? Did you do anything, as you would start doing a little side, if you get what I mean? As Izuku would say this. No, we're not doing anything like that, and besides, we almost got attacked. As all of them would basically perk up, specifically some of their members, as one of them would say this. Who attacked you? Said a girl, treasure hoarder. As Izuku would say this. Well, a man with an electro ability, or at least, uses electro powers, and seems to be, attacking us out of no reason. As one of them would say this. Don't tell me that the guy looks like a samurai. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, he looks like a samurai. As he would say this. Seems that one of the shoguns decided to try and attack you. Or at least they thought thought that you were an enemy. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, it seems so. He would basically start to scratch the back of his neck. As he would say this. Specifically, one of the treasure hoarders. Well, at least you're safe, Izuku. As, one of them would say this. Yeah. After all, we are family, so, as Izuku would say this. Yeah. After saying this, all of them would basically start, feel a little bit, tense, a little bit of tensity in the air. They would start to feel like something is watching them. Or more specifically, something is watching them. As currently in another perspective, a girl with almost raccoon type, clothing and seems to be wearing some sort of like ninja garb would say, Sayu's time to finally leave. She would basically say, as she would basically start to roll away, as she would feel like, Izuku and also, Lamine would basically notice her presence. Sorry about that, god dang it. So, after, doing that specifically, Izuku would say, well, that felt a bit weird. Anyway, we should probably start, get some rest. After all, after that little battle, we sort of need to get some rest. After all, we, as you would basically start, to stretch his arm, as you feel a little bit of strain. As you would say, yeah, we should probably. So, after doing that, both of them would basically go to sleep, as Paimon would basically just, do something else with the treasure hoarders. More specifically, they're thinking of, getting some money. If you get what I mean. Yeah, anyway, so as Izuku's still sleeping, he would basically start to hear explosions. As he would basically wake up in a cold sweat, thinking that Bakugo's basically here now, in this world. As he would look outside and seeing fireworks. As Izuku would say, Well, that is, as Lumine would say this, mm, Izuku, where are you? As she would basically look outside, as she would see tons and tons of fireworks exploding in the distance, as she would say, what the? Are those fireworks? As Izuku would say this, it seems so. So, there are fireworks here. Well, this is certainly interesting. He would basically say nonchalantly, as she would say, yeah, no kidding. Anyway, so, what are we, why are you waking up, this late? I mean, it's technically nighttime now, so, as Izuku would say this, well, I thought it would be, something a bit dangerous happening right now, so I thought, I should say, yeah, I can definitely see so. So, as both of them would basically, stand up, as Izuku would say this, we should probably go outside. Maybe have, a little walk. As Lumin would say this, yeah, we should. So, both of them would basically, hold their arms into an arm lock, as both of them would basically start to leave, with, Paimon in tow. So, as they're basically leaving, I guess you can say the, inn, both of them would basically start to look around and seeing that there's a lot of people basically gone, as you would, see a lot, and I mean a lot of, sounds from a distance. Specifically, it seems to be, music. And also, a lot of lights basically shining towards that specific area. Specifically, where, what is her name? Yeah, Raiden's, palace should be. So, as all of them would, all three of them would basically start to leave, they would see that the area was in fact filled with a lot of people. And it seems to be a festival. So, as Izuku would see this, Izuku would say this. Well, this reminds me of the summer festival back in my world. As Izuku would say this. Hey, Lumine. As Lumine would say this. Yeah, Izuku? As Izuku would say this. Maybe we should join in. But we need to first, change our clothes. As they would basically, decide to do that. So, after going into, a kimono shop, they would basically, change into, traditional Inazuman clothing. Sorry about that, wait for a sec. So, after changing into this, they would basically start, go around and basically, looking around and seeing several people basically having a lot of fun. As Izuku would say this. Well, this is certainly interesting, he would basically say. Ash would say, yeah, no kidding. And I think it's actually quite charming, she would basically say, as Izuku would say this. Yeah, I can definitely see why. As they would see a few gays, which awfully remind him of Japan. So, after a while, basically looking around, sorry about that, they would see a large castle, or more specifically, a large Japanese-style castle, which is obviously Inazuma's, Raiden Shogun's, home. So, as they would see, a few guards basically there, they would basically, look towards some games as they would play them. Some of the, people were still a little bit, I guess you could say, racist towards, Lumine because she's, a, outsider, but Izuku would explain that, that Lumine is actually a pretty good person, so, because he looks like an Inazumian, they would basically obviously trust him. So, after doing all of that and also having a bit of fun, they would basically hear the sound of lightning crashing, as a woman would basically appear. This woman seems to have darkish, darkish purplish hair that fades into a more lighter shade of purple. She seems to be wielding some sort of, spear in hand, as she would basically twirl it around as it would disappear. As she would say this. Welcome, all of my people, she would basically say. Wait for a second. As she would say, welcome to the Inazuma Festival. As all of them would start to cheer at the sight of, her, aka, Miss, I guess you could say soon to be, brand new member of Izuku's harem. Because all of you decided to be all of you decide, for, her to be, Izuku's brand new, member of his, brand new member of his harem. Which, I mean, makes sense, but, let me just rant a little bit. Well, I'm pretty much acceptable for, Raiden being, Izuku's new, harem member, but why Kujo Sara? I mean, I can definitely see the appeal, but when there's clearly the obvious perfect option, you can't tell me otherwise. Yoimiya's best girl. Yoimiya should be a part of the freaking harem, and you can't. And all of you decided, no, we're going to go for the goddamn Tengu. Why? Come on, guys. Like, seriously, why her exactly? I mean, I can definitely see it, definitely see the appeal when you can literally see the, more obvious like, the more obvious um, obvious, option when, she has them thick thighs and also have them thick belong when Kujisara is basically like, I mean, wait for a second. When there's, I'm just gonna say it. She just looks like Jiro to me. You can't tell me otherwise. She just looks like Jiro to me, but with that, but without, the, ear jacks. You can't tell me otherwise. So, yeah, my little rant over. You can just continue the actual episode. So, as Raiden would basically, say to everybody, she would say, "But before we start the festival, I want to tell you all of this." She would basically say that she would basically, that she will make this country better and stronger, and would basically, announce the, the large, statue, aka the thousand-eyed, the thousand-armed, god or something of that sort. I can't really remember the name of that statue. She would explain that this thing is going to be the foundation of eternity, or at least the foundation of her eternity specifically. So, after a while basically saying all of these things, she would also announce something important. She would say, "I also want to tell you all of this. If you find this man, this Izuku Midoriya person, I will reward you anything, and I mean anything that you want. And if you surely find him, bring him to me and I'll make sure that you will have a king for this country," she would basically say, as everybody would just, be wide-eyed hearing this, thinking, wait, is she really going to marry this guy? As when Izuku heard this, he would say, "Oh god, no. Clearly." As, Lumine, after hearing this, she would basically start to get pissed off. For Paimon, she's basically, ignoring all of this and started going for the dongo. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, I could just imagine her doing that. Anyway, continuing with the episode. As, Kujosara would basically show off some pictures of, Izuku, which made him a little bit more menacing than what he actually is. I mean, he's still pretty much menacing in this photo, but still, he's super much, super menacing in the, photos. Just imagine, like, the photos of, like, Meliodas from the Seven Deadly Sins, the wanted poster, wanted posters, where he literally looks like Testarossa, or at least I think that's his name. Just imagine just like that. So, as everybody's basically looking at the photos and, hearing the description that he has green hair and, one of his eyes, instead of, like, having, white around it, instead it's blood red, like this one. As all of them would start to look at, Izuku over there, as, all of them would start pointing at Izuku saying, "We found him!" As, after hearing this, Kujosara would basically look towards, Izuku, and also Lumine. As she'd say, "Capture him!" After saying this, all of the guards would basically start running towards them, as Izuku would say, "Alright, Lumine, let's go!" As both of them would basically start to run away, including, Paimon, which, when she's about to, get that, dongo, she was basically torn away from it like a child with candy. Oh, god damn it. So, as all of them, like all four of them are basically running, they would basically get stopped by a few more guards saying, "We're here to capture you." As Kujosara would say, "Alright, capture him, immediately." As before, they could do anything else, a person would basically appear right in front of them, as this person was quite familiar, with white hair and a red streak. As you would basically, gets ready his sword into, a samurai-like stance, you would basically, slash towards them as a big gust of animal energy would basically appear, causing everybody to basically be flown away. As you'd say, a vision holder? Capture him! And grab that vision immediately! After doing this, a, wait for a second. A few of the guards would basically start charging towards him as he would say this. Run away immediately. As Izuku would say this. Wait, Kazuha? As he would say this. In the flesh. Now move! As before he can do anything else, Izuku would basically run away with Lumine and also Paimon. So, after leaving, they would basically go back to the inn as some of the, treasure hoarders that basically heard of the, situation, one of them would say, well, this is certainly interesting, said one of them, as, one of the, treasure hoarder girls would say, yeah, and I can't believe that, Miss Goddess over there decided, Miss Archon over there, I meant, that, specifically said that he wanted you. I meant, she wanted you, and not only that, wants to make you, her king. One of them would say, with a, I guess you could say happy tone, but, laced with a bit of, fear. As one of them would say this. Well, this is certainly funny, as he would basically start drinking more and more sake, as you'd say, you're definitely gonna get your dick crushed by her. He would basically say with a nonchalant tone, as Izuku would say this. Do not say things like that, and besides, I would not want to imagine that. He would basically start, holding his crotch in defensive position, as he would say, oh, don't worry, besides, you probably might get, a great time before you die. As one of them would say, yeah, especially with your, vision. Remember, vision hunt decree? As Izuku would say this. Yeah, I know, but still, why is this happening? He would basically say, as the main would say this. Yeah, me too. Why is this happening? She would basically say to her, say to herself. And after a while, basically talking, both of them would basically decide to basically, try and leave the place. So, both of them would basically decide to, grab all of their stuff as they would say goodbye to the treasure hoarder, saying, that they're going to be leaving. After saying goodbye to his, somewhat family, all three of them would basically start to leave. So, currently with Toma. Toma, after hearing the announcement, was, dumbstruck, mostly because, after hearing that, their Archon, aka, Raiden, is trying to make, Izuku, the brand new king of Inazuma. Let's just say he's just, thinking in his mind, oh boy, this is certainly interesting. So, after a while, basically trying to find Izuku, he would basically find them basically, running away from the inn, as he would say, hey guys! As he would say, what is it? As he would say, wait, are you leaving? As Izuku would say this, yeah, obviously, I don't want to get captured by her, and there's no way I'm marrying her either way, so, as he would say, but I have an idea, as Izuku would say, wait, what? As he would say, yeah, I actually heard the announcement, especially with the whole, she's planning on making you, you into her, brand new king. And by the way, I do not condone this, so, as Izuku would say this, yeah, obviously, as you say, yeah, so, I may be planning for you to maybe, join, the Kamisato, clan. More specifically, you're gonna be staying there from now on. For a while, at least. As Izuku would say this, really? Then, take us there immediately. As he would say, don't worry, don't worry. So, as all three of them, or specifically all four of them, are basically leaving, they would basically arrive at a pretty large house. As when they arrived there, a few guards would basically salute him and salute towards, Izuku, except for Lumine and also Paimon for obvious reasons, which, let's just say, Izuku was a bit pissed off at them for that. So, after arriving at, the Kamisato, household, he would say, hey, Ayaka, we're here. She would say, oh, hey, Toma, and, oh, hello there, she would basically say with a calm and also polite tone, as Izuku would say this. Hello there. Um, nice to meet you. What's your name? And she would say, oh, just call me Ayaka. Kamisato Ayaka. So, after saying this, she would basically introduce herself. So, after a bit of talking and explaining that she's actually a part of the, Inazuma Council, or at least I think that's the name, and also saying that she's also, the heir of the Kamisato clan, and also being told about, the announcement about, Izuku being forced, marry Raiden, and if she finds him, well, let's just say he's gonna go bye-bye. So, after, hearing all of this, she would basically, tell Toma that, that she wants to find Izuku and basically stop this whole thing because she thought it was a bit crazy. So, after, finally finding Izuku, she would basically tell them that they can stay just as long as they, work with him. Work with her for now. And so, not really both, but more like all three of them would decide to do it. So, after, going towards their little, room for now, all of them would basically, go to sleep. But for now, currently with, a certain, let's just say, yandere-ish, girl, aka Raiden. As Raiden would say this. So, may I ask you, why are you here, Fatui? As a few Fatui members would basically, basically move away, as a woman would basically appear. As she would say, so, mind telling me why you decided to try and steal away Izuku from me? As she would say, well, isn't it obvious? Izuku's right to be my, wait for a second. It is perfect to be my husband. And not only that, to become the king of Inazuma. Because of his power and influence. Not only that, his abilities. So it's obvious for me to make him my king. As she would say, well, let's just say I also like him. And she would say, and I won't let you, touch him at all. She would basically say, as she would say, oh, really, Fatui agent? Then, do you want to seek a war then? She would basically say with an angry tone, as she would basically start using her ult, as she would basically create the sword out of her chest. As she would say, specifically, La Senora, she would say, oh, I dare. She would basically start creating a bit of snow around the area as some of the, Fatui agents and some of the guards would basically step away. As a boy would basically appear. As he would say, alright, all of you shut up. As this boy seems to be wearing a traditional, Inazuma style, clothing. With a somewhat, straw hat. Not really straw hat, just imagine like the hat that, was being worn by the Akatsuki, the straw hat with, the bells, things of that sort, but except a little bit more ornate and not made out of straw. As you would say, alright, all of you shut up. Now, mind telling me where is this Ezekiel of the Thousand Elements and Lumina of the Golden Sword exactly? As she would say this. Well, we don't know yet, but we are planning to find him. As he would say this. Huh. Very well. Either way, we should probably try and stop them before they can ruin our plans, La Senora? You can do whatever you want with Izuku, but I don't really care about this Lumine girl, so you can do whatever you want with them. I should say, whatever, whatever, you damn brat. As she would say, you know, I meant, the boy would say, don't you call me a brat. Besides, you're the one that's acting childish. As she would say this, whatever, Scaramouche. After saying this, Scaramouche would basically start to leave, as, the Fatui agents would also leave, including La Senora. As she would say this, specifically, Raiden. Soon, Izuku, you'll soon be mine, and become my king. She would basically say, as her eyes would start to glow with a little bit of a yandere gleam. As for, Kujisara, nearby, she was conflicted. On the other hand, in one hand, she's basically helping her, her leader, aka the Archon that basically saved her. Not really saved her, but more like, um, thought of her as her, top 10 commanders, and one of their most strongest members, in fact, and consider her as a friend, somewhat, and idolized her, in fact. But on the other hand, she sort of fell in love with Izuku after seeing that photo for the first time, and after hearing all of the stories about Izuku basically saving Inazuma, not Inazuma, I meant, Leeway and also Mondstadt, she was infatuated with him. And after hearing that, Raiden is actually taking interest with, with a certain, green haired boy, aka Izuku, let's just say she's completely conflicted, knowing that, you know, she has to be, the one that basically has to, bring Izuku here and force Izuku to marry her, aka Raiden, aka their Archon, and not her instead. So, she was just like confused on what to do. And so, would just sigh and basically start to leave the, the area. And so, we basically end off the episode right there. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!